It is hard to take any opportunities when you're drowning. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, perfect. With that,
That was the message of Titanic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll never roll, Jack.
Yeah, can you imagine the heart of the ocean just made you drown on dry land?
They could have fit a whole tabletop RPG on top of that door.
Welcome to Dungeon Busters, your Dungeons & Dragons actual play experiment. I'm Diego, a professional dungeon master and actor.
And I'm Michael, an actor and role-playing addict. Each episode, we summon a special guest who helps us give your game inspiration one encounter at a time. We don't just play D&D,
We put it to the test.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dungeon Busters podcast. My name is Michael C. Hyatt, and as always, I am joined by my wonderful co-host,
Diego F. Salinas.
and today our wonderful special guest is Kevin Ramberran. Thank you for joining us, Kevin. Kevin is a comedian, artist, and restaurateur, host of the podcast Oops All Segments, and the actual play podcast What We Do in the Basement, where he is the DM. So thanks for joining us, Kevin.
Oh, thanks for having me, y'all. I'm glad I got to be a wonderful special guest. That's like extra levels of. Yeah. No, I'm so excited to be here. So excited to bust some dungeons.
Yeah, man. So you DM your own actual play podcast, What We Do in the Basement. How long have you been doing that, and what's it all about?
That's a good question. We've been doing it for, I guess, quite a while now. It comes out bi-weekly. We have, I think our 45th episode just came out.
Oh, wow.
And
congrats.
so stands to reason we started recording like right at the beginning of the pandemic, and we started releasing maybe like halfway through the middle of the pandemic. And so we've been doing it for almost 2 years. It's a comedy D&D Let's Play show. We're pretty loose and fast with the rules, if I'm being honest. Like, we use the rule book and we do follow them, and sometimes I'm hard on my players. But I think for the most part, it's a comedy show where I have these other improvisers, Thomas, who's been on the show before, Jesse Bergen, Luke Cessalon, Tasha Duran, these very funny people, and we just get together, and we've been playing this arc that we've been running through. My goal, I'm hoping to take them to session 100 and actually run the gamut of 20 levels all the way up there.
Yes.
We'll
Nice.
see.
That's beautiful. That's amazing. Yeah, if folks who listen to Dungeon Busters will remember Thomas Tolles from Busting Traps, Watch Your Schlep. Very funny episode that y'all should check out if you haven't already. A lot of good info on traps there. Yeah, I also saw that you guys got some cool merch too. Thomas was wearing one of your merch shirts at the theater.
Yeah, we have some merch options available because Jesse, who's on the podcast, is a graphic designer by like that's his day job, and he's a great graphic designer. I've done a lot of graphic design, so we're very passionate about making cool things. So we still sell merch for our show, and we have them available all the time, and they're cool little shirts. So yeah,
they look really fun. That's awesome. Yeah. You've been running a lot of D&D, so I would love to know, and I'd love to kind of start broaching the subject of our topic here today. We are busting cursed items. Yeah. So I'd love to know, everyone around the table, what is your experience with cursed items in D&D? Are there some that you remember that we were like, wow, that was awesome, or maybe you're not a fan of them? What's your vibe on them?
Yeah, personally, DMing cursed items is a lot of fun, and I think it's something that, like, especially narratively, creates like a lot of extra layers to what's happening. It adds like levels of dynamics. You can really kind of like take something. I think it's a nice way to like give a shot in the arm to a part of a campaign. Yeah. All of that being said, I have rarely used them because I feel like they require a bit of long planning and long-term thinking that you only really get the opportunity to do when you're playing for a long time. I'm just starting to kind of dabble with that with our podcast and like starting to introduce some of like the darker side of the lore that they've been dealing with on the world. And so it's fun to kind of like, I'm just bringing in cursed items. So when we were talking about kind of what we wanted to do this episode, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be helpful for me because I'm going to like see how we do it too and bring it in. I really like when you take an item and you give that like its relationship with the curse like a personality, like that it's a good way to like, listeners of other Let's Plays, NADPOD does a really great cursed item in their campaign that they're doing right now, not another D&D podcast. And they have like this helm that has like charges that you have to you have to like roll certain things to not to like help you at the end of night unless this curse will attack you. But they always do this really cinematic way of like explaining how successful or unsuccessful like the interaction with the curse is. And I just think that there's a lot of cool opportunity with cursed items. So I have limited experience, but I am excited.
Yeah. I think I have a limited experience too, actually. So I'm really excited for this episode as well. I've one of my players in a pirate theme campaign that I was doing got a cursed dagger that like thirsted for blood. So I had to do like a certain amount of damage to other like creatures that like actually had blood, because I did damage against like a rock creature, but
elemental
it didn't count
or something.
at all.
Yeah, and it didn't work. Yeah.
So that was challenging. Otherwise, it would like affect my overall HP at the end. So
that's cool. Yeah,
pretty intense. But I only got to play sort of the first part of the curse. We only had it for a couple sessions, and then as campaigns are one to do, it fizzled out. So I never got like closure from this cursed item. And
you've never shaken the curse. Yeah.
I've never shaken the curse. I'm still cursed. So I think it's interesting to play with like what like thematically, like why give certain players like a cursed item? What will it bring out of them like character wise? I think is interesting.
I think it does allow for like an extra level of role play from people who maybe aren't necessarily as inclined to it, because it's a bit of like players who are less excited about role playing and are more into maybe numbers crunching or the other elements of D&D. I think cursed items give them an opportunity to like it takes some of the pressure off, because it can be between you and the DM. Like there's a lot of that role playing and a lot of that, or even within yourself. And I think that can feel like a comfortable space for people who are maybe not as cool role playing with like larger groups and don't want to be like, well, I know what my character would do in a team of 5 and how they talk during this, So I think that's kind of handy.
I never considered that as like cursed items as a good, because I love things that like encourage people to engage in the parts of the game that they might not be like as comfortable with. And the idea of like cursed items as like a really nice like just gateway into deeper role playing, I think that is a very, very fun thing. And honestly, I'm not surprised that a lot of people haven't run cursed items in their games or haven't encountered them as players, because I was looking through the Dungeon Master Guide, and I went through all the magic items, and as far as I could see, there were 4 cursed items in the whole list of magic items that Wizards of the Coast gives you. I went and read like the DMG page on like magic items, and it has like a little section on cursed items, but it's like 4 sentences, and it kind of just really gives a kind of a very like a baseline idea of like what like constitutes a cursed item, like what the characteristics in general are. And I was
there's more of the work left up to the DM than in some of the other things, I guess. Right?
Absolutely. And I think this is, and there are probably some really great supplemental 5e materials that have like a bevy of cursed items.
I don't think so, Diego. There's nobody ever makes supplemental materials.
No one would do that. But if our listeners know of any really cool 5e cursed item compendiums, please feel free to let us know. DNGN Busters Pod on social media, dungeonbusterspod@gmail.com.
I'll
be
add
more than
that to
happy
my
to know
Google
what you
alerts
play with.
so that I can steal some of those ideas.
Maybe we can even play test some of them in the future. But yeah, I think that gives us kind of a good baseline of where we all are with cursed items.
Yes.
So why don't we go down to the Dungeon Busters lab and see what we got in store today. Alrighty, welcome into the Dungeon Busters lab. Happy to have you all in here. First thing we're going to get to do is just get a baseline of the characters that y'all brought into the session today. So I asked both of y'all to prepare a 4th level character. So I'm very interested to see what y'all got. Let's go ahead and kick it off with our special guest, Kevin. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your character?
Yeah, for sure. My character's name is Fitzroy Dopple. Fitzroy is a dragonborn. He's you'll have to forgive me because I'm looking at multiple tabs as I do this, as is the way. But Fitzroy Dopple is he's a dragonborn. He's in his like mid to late 30s. Very like sort of put upon. He didn't he's a graduate. I should spell this out. He is a graduate of Faust's Academy of Necromancy and Dark Stuff. He's a wizard. He's a level 4 wizard. He's focusing on necromancy, obviously, and he's interested in trying to make friends and make connections because he went to this adult education school for necromancy, and it didn't really grant him the amount of community connection that he might have thought it would, because he's just a little bit less easy to handle than some people might like. He's got a nose ring. He wears these nice big sort of glasses, and he carries a spell book with him on his back and his wizard's robes, and he's just trying to have a good time.
I love that. Well, welcome to the table, Fitzroy Dopple. All right.
Well, I think perhaps your time at that college did give you one community connection, and that would be Tethrin Vice. He is a level 4 tiefling barbarian, Path of the Zealot, and he serves he serves those who practice like the necrotic arts, and he like serves a deity that laughs in the face of death, or maybe controls death in its own way. And he is set out to help like necromancer reach like their full potential. So I think he's come across Fitzroy and sees quite a lot of potential, and I'll protect you, and I will fight for you, and all that you all that you're seeking, all the knowledge that you're seeking, as long as you keep me alive and bring me back and make sure that I can never die.
Got your like best hype men of the undead here.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's serving necromancy.
He is serving necromancy. Yeah, and he's a tiefling, so he is, shirtless, red skin, big horns. He's got this massive great sword on his hip. He's ready to mess some people up.
Amazing. Well, welcome to the table, Tethrin Vice. So here's a little context for where your characters are today. Coves End is one of the many quaint coastal towns around the dark water sea that has fallen from an era of plenty into times of scarcity. Over the years, many have chosen to leave behind a life at the water's edge in search of opportunity elsewhere. Recently, some of the locals have noticed strange occurrences in and around the town. Strange symbols drawn on the sandy beaches to be washed away by the time the high tide rolls in. Whispered hymns echoing throughout the sea caves on the outskirts of town, and all manner of strange newcomers arriving into the small settlement. Not to mention the priest's weekly sermons draw an increasingly dwindling congregation. At the priest's urging, you have decided to investigate this clandestine meeting that you believe is happening during low tide in one of the sea caves on the outskirts of the town of Coves End. What do you all like to do?
I think Fitzroy is treading along sort of the coastline towards this cave kind of opening, and I think he's perhaps just like finishing putting out maybe their fire and organizing their most recent camp so that they can depart and puttering about, as it were.
Tethrin is sort of standing along the shoreline, trying to catch wisps of the hymns through the air.
Yeah.
As he stands with his prayer wheel up, sort of spinning it slowly. He sort of mumbles to himself, just loud enough for Fitzroy to hear. I think the signs are good for potent necromantic energy in this region. It's a good thing the priest is not suspecting.
Feeling optimistic, are we? Oh boy, I'm very excited to see how much energy I can channel today. You always believe in me so much.
I have absolute faith in you. It is unyielding and unbreakable. You will rise to power. I can sense it.
Thank you very much, Tethrin. Yeah. You're so kind.
Yeah.
Do you suppose you could maybe just help me? The logs are a little heavy, and you've got all those muscles, and I just want to move some of the stuff out of the way.
Yes, and I'll help Fitzroy pack up camp and set off in the direction of the cave.
Oh boy! When there were two sets of footsteps, it was both of us walking. But maybe I'll just hop on your back and you can carry me.
I mean, if you want me to carry you, I will. But
you don't have to. I thought you'd be more. It's okay. I was expecting enthusiasm.
I mean, yeah, I'll carry you on my back. Yeah, definitely. I would love nothing more to carry you and our supplies with all on my back. That sounds great.
Oh, thank you so much. You're so nice to me. No one's really that kind to me usually. They kind of just blow me off. But I'm glad to have had you on these last few adventures with me.
Yes, we have come across some interesting information.
And so on the back of Tethrin Vice, Fitzroy hops upon, and Tethrin walks you all amongst the sandy shore to the mouth of the sea caves. The low tide has made it so that you can wander in, and there are little sections where the sea is threatening to lap up into the walkable areas. You can make your way deep into the sea caves, undisturbed. Come across a grisly sight. The dim light from the red ritual candles casts an eerie glow over the smudged sigils and glyphs painted on the stone floor of the cultists' hidden sea cave. The roar of the sea echoes throughout the cave as you take in the sight of the slain salt speaker cultists at your feet. In the center of the smudged ritual stone, a dead, masked salt speaker lays in final rest, with his hands clutched around a silver coral trident embedded in another cultist. Another corpse dangles from the shattered wooden door of a hidden closet. You recognize the lifeless face of one of the unmasked salt speakers as that of the blacksmith of Cove's End. What would you all like to do?
Oh, boy. This looks like there's a lot of recently dead. I think I'd like to figure out how recently the folks around us have passed away based on what I'm looking at.
Yeah, go ahead and either roll investigation or medicine. 16, yeah, with a 16 on your investigation check. Yes, you're able to deduce that most of the corpses in this sea cave are bearing like 3 punctured wounds. The coral trident that's clutched in one of these dead cultists' hand is a 3-pronged trident, and you can see that a lot of the people that are dead here have a 3-hole trident puncture somewhere on their body. You surmise that that is the instrument of their demise. You can also tell that these folks have been dead maybe like 2 hours, not long at all.
Oh boy, freshly dead, and it looks like this guy did quite a bit of damage. I'm pointing at the person holding the three-pointed, the trident, as it were.
They were unworthy of the power that they wielded.
And I think Tethrin will walk up and clutch the trident.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I'm gonna slide off his back as he's doing this.
Fitzroy slides off of Tethrin's back as you go to the center of this like ritual stone. All the dead cultists around you. You put your hand onto the trident and you can feel, for a moment, it feels like you're holding a conch shell up to your ear. You can hear the roar of the ocean within your head where it subsides.
Feel anything?
Yes, I can hear the ocean. I'm picturing a sea of fire, ablaze, destruction.
Wow. Mind if I take a look? I'm going to come grab the thing as well.
Yes, it's quite calming, actually.
Boy, I could use to relax a little. I'm going to grab the cursed item as well. Or not the cursed item, the trident.
You grab the trident as well, and upon doing so, you hear the same roar of the ocean in your ears. distinct from the roar of the ocean that you're hearing inside of the sea caves that you're in. It overwhelms your hearing for a moment before passing like the tide.
Ooh. That was kind of give me the willies.
Could I spin this trident around and try to get a feel for like how I would use this martially?
Yeah. Let me see here.
Yeah, just kind of taking some thrusts with it.
Sure.
I'm familiar with like using a javelin, so I feel like I know some of the forms that might work.
I'm gonna let go before you start doing the spins.
This is a thrown weapon. You can throw it pretty easily. You feel like your optimal range would be between 20 and 60 feet. It's also quite versatile, and you can wield it two-handed or one-handed as you desire. And it is a very, very fine construction. It is made of it appears to be like metal from like an old harpoon that has gotten encrusted with coral, and this dead coral, silver in nature, has come to like a three-pronged trident's finish. Yeah, it feels very good.
Cool.
You can also see that it has some like markings and etchings on it that would take probably some time of like independent study to really attune to what this trident is about.
I think I'm gonna go over to the closet, the sort of smashed in secret closet described.
Yeah, you do so. Looking inside, you see that there are reams of paper, a small jewelry box, and a leather-bound book.
Oh, love me a good book. I'll be flipping that open, taking a look at what's in there.
Yeah, as soon as your hand touches the book, it feels damp and smells of brine and rotting fish.
Oh.
You thumb your fingers over the cover, and it feels like nice and like wet and like leathery. Even the leather of it has like puckered like a hand that's been in water too long.
Ooh.
You flip it open, and what languages do you speak?
I speak Common, Draconic, and Dwarvish.
Yeah, you are unfamiliar with the writings inside of this book. You cannot decipher this language.
Doesn't seem like anything I know.
If I were to come over and peek over Fitzroy's shoulder, being able to understand Abyssal and Common, Draconic, and Infernal, would I perhaps glean anything?
Yeah, you look over Fitzroy's shoulder and instantly recognize the language is Abyssal. This is a book of hymns.
It's a hymnal. Great songs from the abyss.
Give me a religion check.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll tell you what I read.
Unfortunately, you're not quite able to parse through and understand who these hymns are for, what they're meant to do. You can clearly understand like the actual words on the page, but a little bit of like the subtext and the context, and the contextual meaning is really missing from it. You're not really that religiously familiar with what this hymn book might be honoring or devoted to.
It's got a nice melody, but I don't really know what they're talking about, though.
Seems like a nice tune, then, I guess. Huh.
Perhaps something to hold on to.
The reams of paper that were there, these are just like sort of left like extra papers, just lots of extra papers.
Yeah,
around.
a lot of them look like they're kind of compiled in a, not like bound together, but just like kind of bound together in twine and whatnot. A lot of them seem like they've been ripped out of different types of journals, manuscripts, parts of atlases, and other
And
maps.
the languages of this are all Abyssal as well? Or I don't
These are
recognize
mostly in Common. Some are varied in other languages that you can't understand. Some are in Dwarvish, even. Like, you can see some star charts as well. Go ahead and give me an investigation check, please.
Sure.
Ooh, yeah, 22.
Nice.
You parse through these papers rather quickly, and you're quickly able to deduce that all these papers are tied to astrological moons and ancient constellations. a lot of these papers seem to have been ripped out of materials relating to like seacraft and naval navigation.
Looks like someone's trying to chart a course. I once took a course that I was quite good at, and it was actually a specialist course in necromancy, which was understanding languages. Unfortunately, in one ear out the other with me, I can't seem to nothing seems to stick. So
It just means that you were not destined to need that information.
I guess so, friend. Gonna walk out of this closet. So sorry, you said there were some corpses around.
Yeah, there are corpses.
And there was a jewelry box in that closet as well.
Oh,
right?
shit.
There
Yeah,
was
I forgot
a
about the
jewelry
jewelry
box.
Parent, I'm going to let you look at that because I'm more interested in the dead.
Okay.
Do I get the sense that the person that died here, the one that was holding the trident, do they seem to be? I'm still in character voice. Do they seem to be like sort of based on what I can interpret from the bodies here? Does it seem like that person slayed the majority of the other people?
Go ahead and roll an investigation check.
Here we go. That 8. Darn.
8. You can see it would be the easiest deduction. Yeah, it would seem like the simplest thing would be that this one person slayed a bunch of them. Though you are seeing that this dead guy that had the trident, the person that he was kind of stabbing, they also stabbed him with like a little dagger and got him like right in the chest. It seems like one of those things where they clashed together and both died. None the victor.
Okay.
I'll pop open that jewelry box.
Inside of the jewelry box, you find a couple of like rusted coins, as well as a gold ring inscribed with intricate wave imagery on it.
Interesting. I think I'll pocket the rusty coins, and then I'll turn to Fitzroy and say, "There's a strange ring in here. I can't. Is there any language on it at all? It's just symbol.
Just like inscriptions of waves. No words that are visible on the band.
And I'll sort of toss it to Fitzroy, and I wonder,
does this seem magical in any nature to you?
Fitzroy's gonna drop the arm of the corpse he was looking at, and to catch the ring and take a closer look at it and say, well, I don't know. Let me try it on, and I'm gonna just slip it on my finger. I've got that wavy drip.
It matches your aesthetic, I think. It looks good on you.
It matches my nose ring.
Yes, it does. Maybe you should, unless you need
swap
a new
it out.
nose ring, you could.
Do you want me to swap out my nose ring for this ring?
You could go to the blacksmith.
and then I recognize the dead blacksmith in the corner.
Or, in the next town over.
Yeah.
You slip the ring onto your finger, and the smell of salt water fills your nose. And salt water also fills your lungs. You are actively drowning right now. What is your constitution modifier?
Oh boy. My constitution modifier is +2.
+2. You have both of you roll for initiative right now.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, son of a bitch.
I'll say real quick, I think I put that tome of hymns probably in my backpack.
Sounds good.
I got an 11.
I got a 6.
Amazing. Great. So starting off with Fitzroy, you have 2 rounds before you drop to 0 HP and begin to drown.
Oh my gosh.
Fitzroy, you get the first move. What would you like to do?
I'd like to take the ring off.
You begin tugging at the ring, but it is latched on there. It feels as if your finger has swelled like a bloated corpse.
Oh no.
Please give me an Arcana check.
Sure. Oh dear. I do have +5. That's a 21.
21, yeah. you are able to slide the ring off. It kind of crackles a little bit with magic as you do so. You expel all the seawater from your lungs. You are now both out of initiative.
Okay.
Sure, I think I blast out some fire breath to clear out my to like evaporate the rest of the water from my mouth because I'm a brass dragonborn. And I'm like, oh my god, oh gods. Oh.
So is it magical?
It made me feel like it filled me with water, with lungs with water. Oh god, I was drowning. What is wrong with this thing? Who would wear this?
I have no idea.
Oh,
Maybe one of these. Does it look like we just found it in the box, right? Like it wasn't on.
Yeah, it was
anybody?
in that hidden closet. No one was wearing it.
Perhaps a nasty trick we could pull on somebody. Is we
yeah.
need to,
Oh, jeez. I'm gonna pocket the wavy ring of making me drown. And can I do like an Arcana check on it to see if I recognize any of the magic that's coming off of it?
Yeah, go ahead and roll Arcana.
Boom. 9.
Yeah, you'd probably need a spell like Identify or Detect Magic to really know what is the specifics of this. You just are tuned into the fact that it like has that sea imagery, carved into it.
Okay, that sucked. That sucked a lot. Do you think maybe these people were up to something a little more sinister than just fighting with tridents?
Yes. Perhaps they were serving something. Well, I imagine they were, but I don't quite know what.
And can we look around to see if there's any like symbols of like if they're serving a god or a certain
any sort of
deity or
religious
entity?
Yeah.
So where you found the dead person with the trident, they were on like a ritual slab, a ritual table there, and the table was on each corners. It had red candles that had begun to burn quite low. They also had like sigils and glyphs smudged onto the table. It seems like in the ruckus, y'all can deduce that that's what caused the symbols to smudge. They're not quite as complete as they would have been probably at the beginning of whatever ceremony or ritual was occurring here. But go ahead and roll a religion check.
That's a 15.
And I got a 11.
11, no, yeah. So with that 15, Tethrin, you were able to tune in to a couple of sea debris. You see that completing this ritual slab, there are like pieces of driftwood, sea glass, kelp, marine line, oyster shells, like a lot of like detritus from the sea had been originally, it seemed, carefully placed around here, but since scattered around the room in the fight that broke out.
Seems like there's some sort of ocean deity. I see a lot of marine related items around.
And it doesn't look like, does this room, could we tell, like, does it fill up at high tide?
Yeah, you can see the high water mark on the wall, and it would come up to, the room is like 20 feet high. It comes up like 15 feet into the room.
Oh, okay.
And
It'll
we
be
are
pretty
below that
deadly.
high tide line, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it is low tide right now.
Goody.
Is this the only room in here? Are there other rooms that we could explore?
It looks to be like the end of the cave. The cave ends in this little chamber here. Other little cracks and crevices are around there, but none that you could fit through. None that like a medium-sized person could fit through.
Okay.
Sure.
And
Sorry, I'm just gonna take a look at. I'd like to just like make sure I do a good solid once over of all of these bodies, and like rummage through their stuff. Having dealt with the dead many times and the recently dead, I think I just would like to make sure that there isn't anything being carried by these folks that I would maybe miss.
Yeah, they all have their own unique masks. Also, kind of forged out of smoothed wood, and they very much take like a different contour on each person and have their own markings and etchings on each of them. But as you're parsing through the bodies, mostly it seems like these people arrived in these ritual robes that they're wearing. Some have like really fancy jewelry on them. Some might have a small coin purse at their side. Most are carrying a dagger or scimitar of some sort. You recognize the craftsmanship as that of the blacksmith that you'd met earlier in your time in Cove's End. As you're parsing through one of these bodies, though, you find tickets to a passenger vessel that is traversing the dark water sea in 1 week's time, leaving from one of the ports further down the coast.
It looks like someone was headed across the old Darkwind.
Interesting.
Also, I think I'd like to cast Detect Magic and just see if I can pull anything from nearby.
Yeah. You get...
Or the ring.
Yeah, you get... your Detect Magic is able to pick up on the transmutation magic that is embedded in the ring. You also notice that the trident glows in the light as well. It seems to have been enchanted to be more powerful than it appears. You recognize this as a +1 trident.
Oh, looks like that's got some serious capabilities there. You might be able to lodge that into somebody else.
Nice.
Question, in the pack that Tethrin is carrying, does the tome that he put in his pack start glowing as well?
The tome does not glow. And no other jewelry or coins or items or weapons that in this room light up in the presence of Detect Magic either.
That staff also has wavy drip.
Yes. Unfortunately, it's not dripping with magical potency. That's more exciting. But
Just to recap, the priest in the town sent us here. Was he hoping for us to find... wants to know, like, why people... Like, there are less people joining the congregation, or, like...
Just generally been, like, kind of creeped out by all the symbols he's seen that have been appearing on the sand. His congregation's been dwindling, but that's been happening for years as more and
He's
more
just
people...
also not a very good priest.
Yeah. He's very boring, drones on. But generally, yeah, he was just kind of like, there's a lot of weird things going on. Saw some folks with swords come into town and were like, hey, if you want to take a look at it for me, I got to stay at the temple, but, come go check this out for me.
Well, it certainly does seem like something's afoot, I'll say that.
yes,
Or a fib.
some religious zealot has come and convinced these people to serve some other master, it would seem.
Is there anything else y'all would like to do in this sea cave?
Well, I think I'm about settled here. I don't know if there's much more to do with these dead bodies. I mean, we can tell somebody that we found this, I guess, and make sure that it gets cleaned up.
I mean, should we drag the bodies out of here? They're all gonna wash away at high tide, and some of them are
Fitzroy,
members of the community.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Fitzroy, with your passive perception, you are able to tell that the water has risen 3 inches since y'all have wandered into the sea cave.
Okay, well, I think it's about time, high time, that we get these bodies out of here, and insert it in advance of high tide.
Perhaps
I tried for a joke, but I stumbled through it. Oh boy!
No, it was excellently executed. It was superb. I chuckled.
You're so nice to me.
Tethrin will begin hauling bodies over his shoulder and just taking them out of the cave and putting them above like the high tide line. I think he's hoping that they'll get a few extra coin for like bringing people back as opposed to letting them be washed to sea.
Perfect.
Yeah. I'm gonna pocket those tickets that I found too. Just make sure that I have those.
Excellent.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So over the next, I don't know, like 45 minutes or so, you drag the rest of the bodies out of the sea caves, placing them carefully on the beach. You were able to relay all this information in due course with the town priest. And though there was a lot of grief in this town, especially since a lot of these folks were trusted members of the community, you can tell that it's going to take some time for the people of Coves End to come to terms with what has happened here. But right now, we're actually going to do a time skip.
Ooh.
2 weeks later, hot on the trail of the salt speakers, you are now aboard the vessel for which you found tickets.
Nice.
A large wave slams against the side of the passenger vessel, causing you and everyone else in the belly of the ship to struggle to stay upright. Lightning flashes through the hatch above you, followed by another deep roll of thunder and unrelenting sheets of rain. Most of the other passengers keep to themselves, some struggling to hold down their breakfast in the storm. But a group of people keep shooting you two dirty looks. Another passenger is taken to lighting red candles around a makeshift altar where they are absorbed in prayer. Another wave slams the starboard side, which encourages some to give up the relative dryness of the hold in search of fresh air on the decks. What would you all like to do?
Tethrin vomits.
Oh boy. Oh dear.
Not the biggest fan of the sea.
One thing I would like to know before we go into this next part is you had some time to spend with the trident.
Yes.
It needed attunement.
Oh.
Which one of you has attuned to the trident?
I think that's probably Tethrin, right?
I think Tethrin totally has attuned to it.
Yeah.
This is so cool.
Which one of you is currently possessing the hymn book?
Oh, I might have that too.
I think Tethrin might have it as well. If it's, I think Tethrin has it.
And
I think
so.
which one of you possesses the ring of drowning?
I think I probably have the ring.
Yeah.
So.
I think Tethrin has probably flipped through the hymn book more to try to figure out who is this about, what god is this
he
about?
understands it better than I do. So I feel like if I'm holding it, I'm holding a book I don't understand.
Give me a religion check.
Okay. That's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20, yes. You've managed to key in on a certain name and epithet that is repeated over and over throughout this tome. You keep seeing the name Stybisso, the trench demon, surface over and over again throughout the pages of this brief hymnal book.
Excellent. Stybisso, the trench demon. Do we know anything about Stybisso, the trench demon? Would we know any lore or
Any religious?
Both of y'all give me another religion check.
Okay. I definitely would be translating all this to Fitzroy.
Only a 9. Yeah.
11 and a 9. Yeah, y'all don't know. This could be, an older god. It could be a new primordial being. It could be really anything you've never heard. It's definitely not something that is in the common pantheon or the common stories and religious tales that are told. This seems to be something entirely different.
Well, on this rocking boat, I think I'd like to sort of sidle up near to this person who's having a bit of a prayer ceremony with their red candles and see what I can pick up, sort of without trying to disturb them.
Yeah.
Are those the same folks that are giving us a nasty look?
No, so there's one dude that's just praying in the corner, and then there's a couple of other dudes that are just keep shooting y'all dirty looks.
Yeah, I'm eyeing the folks giving us dirty looks. Keeping my eye on them.
Amazing. And sorry, could you give me a perception check, Fitzroy?
You got it. Only an 8. Fitzroy not doing well on this boat either. I think I got motion sickness.
With the sloshing of the storm, and the rain outside, the claps of thunder, and just how quietly this person is, they're just trying to privately do their own thing. They've gone pretty far out of their way to kind of carve out their own little section in the hull of the ship here. You cannot really hear clearly what they're saying. They seem to be saying some prayer words. Meanwhile, you shot a dirty look at the group that was shooting dirty looks at you.
Oh, yeah.
Can you give me an intimidation check?
Yeah. I think I'm actually going to kind of walk up to them and just mumble to them, what are you looking at? And I'll also try to sort of sneakily cast thaumaturgy and make my eyes like burn red a little bit as I say that.
Yeah. What's your spellcasting mod?
It is charisma based, I believe.
So go ahead and add a +1 to your intimidation check.
Okay, intimidation +1.
Yeah.
Plus, this will be 18.
18. Yeah, you shoot back the dirty look at them. And what did you use thaumaturgy to do?
Thaumaturgy to just make my eyes like burn red a little bit.
Yeah, they burn red, and the three people they kind of take a look at each other, and then they kind of like seem to like slink a little bit. So one of them gets up, walks over to you across the hull of the ship here, and says, "That's a mighty fine trident you got there."
And I'll draw it from my back and give it a little spin.
Yes, I've had it for a while now. It's a fine weapon.
Yes. A very unusual building material. What is that? Wood? Is that metal?
I don't quite know.
It's coral.
Oh, it's it's coral. Came from the sea. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Would you mind if I held it for a second?
I would.
As you say that, you also feel a pull originating from the trident that is compelling you, like even more resolutely encouraging you not to give it up.
Yeah. And I sort of draw it a little near to myself.
I would. I would have a problem.
Come on, buddy. Just let me see the trident. It looks really nice. I've never seen anything like it.
You can appreciate it from right where you are.
Well, I appreciate much right from where I stood. Appreciated the trident. Caught my eye as soon as y'all boarded the ship. Also caught my eyes the way you wobble and mule on the dock here, on the deck here. Belching, throwing up. Clearly not someone who's meant for the waves. At this, his two little buddies begin to laugh. Snicker, snicker, snicker.
I'm just getting my sea lick. But
Not on the trident.
I'm sure I'll adjust.
Now, I'm not sure if you're a fool who got lucky or an unlucky bastard who's finally met his match. But Stibisso does not want you to wield his trident. Give it to me.
No.
I can ask again. This is a gift from the trench demon, and you are not meant to wield it. Give it back.
If you want this trident, you're gonna have to clutch it out of my cold, dead hands.
I was hoping you'd say that. Everyone, roll for initiative.
What's happening? Oh no!
We love starting a fight.
Love a good fight. I got a 17.
So all of the brown stuff here is just like crates, boxes, like maybe part of a mast. Up here to the right is a staircase.
Nice.
Okay. Great, awesome. So we've rolled for an initiative. It looks like, let's see here. We're going to have one of these cultists going up first, and they are going to go ahead and strike at you with a scimitar. With a 9 to hit on you, Tethrin.
I'm able to block that with an AC of 13. I use my trident to bash it away.
Amazing. Another one of these guys comes up and it's going to come in and flank you. We got another scimitar attack with a 10 that is going to miss. As we pass turn now to the man who was praying by Fitzroy. As he's going to turn around.
Hi.
and he's going to just call out the word drop. And can you please make a wisdom saving throw, Tethrin?
Yes, I can. Wisdom saving throw.
This guy's a DJ.
It's good. Drop the beat.
Everybody drop. Yeah.
That is a 14.
14. You can feel your fingers begin to loosen around the trident, but you are unwilling to let it go. As we pass turn now to Fitzroy.
Okay, so this
Okay.
praying person who's just cast some sort of type of spell to try and make someone drop something is right by me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think I am going to try to grab this person and slip the ring on their finger.
Ooh. Okay. I'm going to say you're going to have to grapple them first.
Yeah.
As an action, and then maybe the next turn, you can try a sleight of hand to like slip the ring on the finger. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Hell yeah, awesome. So grapple contested your athletics against either their athletics or their...
I think it's their athletics or their...
acrobatics.
Acrobatics, yeah. Well,
Awesome.
lucky for me, I'm not very strong or dexterous, so here goes nothing. Oh, Christ, I got a 20!
Nat 20!
I love that it's like acid jazz. It's just like lounge music. Great.
And he... sorry. My guy got an 11, so that is not going to work out well for him. Great. Yeah, you managed to get this guy in a grapple. You have him grappled.
Put him in a full Nelson. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I gotcha.
As we pass turn now to Tethrin.
As I sort of like bash this one scimitar and kick the other one away as I spin around, blocking those two, I'm going to thrust forward with my trident to hit the one who was giving me the dirty looks and trying to get me to give him a trident. With my trident, that is a 24 to hit.
24 hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
And that's going to be 9 piercing damage.
Amazing. You spear this guy straight in the throat. He dies.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
All right. Anything else with your turn?
That is going to... I'll just like... set myself back in like combat position, and that is actually going to be it for my turn for this round.
All right. Another one is going to come in and get a flank on you here.
Okay.
With a 21 to hit.
Okay.
You take 5 points of slashing damage.
Excellent. 5 points of slashing damage. I'm going to take that, and as he strikes me across my back, I'm going to turn again, eyes gleaming red, and I'm going to use my reaction to Hellish Rebuke.
Awesome.
Ooh.
As you do that, also give me a wisdom saving throw. I'll give you my dex save.
Okay. It's a dex save of 11.
Great. He got a 10.
Ooh, nice. And my wisdom saving throw is a 2.
All right. It is this moment that you feel the roar of the ocean come back into your ears.
Okay.
And you hear just one drowned word coming through the churning sea. Kill. Kill. Kill.
Oh, yeah.
This is a berserker trident, and you are cursed. As long as you remain cursed, you are unwilling to part with this trident, keeping it within reach at all times. You also have disadvantage on attack rolls with weapons other than this one, unless no foe is within 60 feet of you that you can see or hear.
Okay.
You are also currently in the grips of the curse, and it has made you go berserk. While berserk, you must use your action each round to attack the creature nearest to you with the trident. If you can make extra attacks as part of the attack action, you use those extra attacks, just reaching and clearing, moving to the next nearest creature after you fell your current targets. If you have multiple possible targets, you're attacking them at random.
Okay.
And that is all you know currently.
Ooh, excellent. Well, then I'm definitely doing this Hellish Rebuke.
Yeah.
You said he failed the dex save.
He does.
So that is going to be 2d10 for 16 points of fire damage. Full damage, or no, almost full damage. As I turn, eyes kind of glowing red as he ignites in flames.
You'll never get this trident from me.
another one of these. This guy just fucking spontaneously combusts and he dies.
Oh my god.
We go back to the top of the round, and it is in this moment that drawn in by the commotion here, a couple of sailors have come down from the deck, and we have 3 more of these guys kind of come down the stairs just in time to see you immolate a man.
Nice.
You hear them say, "Yield! Yield! Drop your weapon!" As one of these cultists is going to try and get you with his scimitar with a 18 to hit.
That's going to
for
hit.
2 points of slashing damage.
I'll take that.
You'll notice they're not listening. They did not drop their weapons. Oh, geez.
And we pass it now to the man who was praying before. This one
God
is
damn it.
going to cast Spiritual Weapon. Yeah, going to cast Spiritual Weapon and make it appear a nice glowing coral scimitar comes into magical being next to you. And he's going to... let me see if he can attack. Awesome. So it's actually bonus action to cast Spiritual Weapon, and then you can attack this turn, and bonus action to move it.
Oh,
nice.
nice.
There you
yeah.
go.
So acts independently.
Yeah, so
We
this
learn
scimitar...
something every day.
This scimitar is going to come down on you, Fitzroy, with a 20 to hit.
That's going to do it. Oh, jeez.
And it is going to deal unto you 10 points of damage.
Oh, boy. Oh, dear.
We go now to you, Fitzroy.
Ow. Firstly, ow. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm going to try to slip this ring on this person's finger.
All right. Go ahead and give me a sleight of hand. I must say contested by their dexterity saving throw.
Sounds good. Sleight of hand. 18.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
The man
bad.
who was praying before fails with a 7.
Yes.
You manage to slip the ring on his finger. He immediately starts drowning.
Cast a spell now, you piece of garbage. Sea trash, motherfucker.
You can see that he like you still got him like grappled, and he's like kind of like tearing at his chest, tearing at his like throat. He's like trying to cough, but like all you just see is like little spurts of water come out.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
he's not-
make
he's
it
not
feel
looking
like
like
I'm
he's gonna
actually
be-
choking him out, even though I'm not. Like I've got him in a full Nelson. And I'm
Insult to
acting like this is
injury.
my- yeah.
Yeah,
doing it.
he is not looking too good right now.
first
He
stabbing
doesn't
you with
look
your
like he can
super
hold his
scimitar.
breath for much longer. Fitzroy, anything else with your turn?
I guess that's probably my action, right?
Yeah, that'd be your action. You have bonus action and movement. You can also drop the grapple at any time.
Yeah, I think I'm going to actually I think I'm gonna drop the grapple and let him sort of like let him fall to the floor. And do I have movement still?
Yep, movement.
Yes, right. I'd like to move sort of closer to. You mentioned that there were some sort of crates and things like that in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
I'd like to kind of go hide behind there, sort of. Like, I don't want to take the hide action, obviously, because I don't have that. But I'd like to move towards this crate and sort of get myself between, so that there's this between me and the fight that's going on with Tethrin, as well as the guards that are coming downstairs, so that I might be able to, better cast spells and attack them from a
Yeah,
distance. And also
feel free to
stay-
move your token as far as your
Perfect.
speed allows.
Okay, yeah. Oh, cool. It's got this whole thing. Oh, that's fun. Boom.
Yep, you do so. He
Nice.
can't even take an opportunity attack because he's too busy drowning in the middle of the air.
It is hard to take any opportunities when you're drowning.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, perfect. With that,
That was
we
the
pass.
message of Titanic.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
if only
never
they.
roll, Jack.
Yeah, can you imagine that the heart of the ocean just made you drown on dry land?
They could have fit a whole tabletop RPG on top of that door.
Yeah, they could have.
Yeah, they had more than enough of space to like put down a board game, roll some dice.
Yeah, get it together, Rose.
All right,
Yeah.
with that, we go now to the guards. One of them is going to come barreling down the stairs here, and is going to use his action to dash so that he's next up to Tethrin. We pass turn now to another guard who is going to use his action to dash towards Tethrin as well. And we pass turn now to Tethrin.
Yeah, Tethrin is gonna rage. He's filled with the infernal flames that just engulfed this cultist. He rages, and then is going to attack.
Per the parameters of the curse, you pick one of these at random.
I'll roll a
D6.
D6.
And then re-roll on a 6 or a 1.
Me 2. So I'll attack 2.
All right, perfect. Go ahead and roll to hit.
Because of my Divine Fury, while you're raging, the first creature you hit on each of your turns with a weapon attack takes extra damage equal to 1d6 plus half your barbarian level.
Perfect.
So this is going to be the trident damage plus Divine Fury.
Perfect.
Oof.
Go ahead and roll to hit with your trident.
That's going to be 11 to hit.
11
So
does not
probably
hit.
not. Never mind. I'm going to do neither of those things.
Anything else with your turn?
That's a bonus action and attack. I don't think I'm going to move. So I'm just going to stay there.
All right, great. With that, we go ahead and go to another one of these guards who is going to go ahead and use his action to dash. You are now circled on basically essentially 4 people around you here. We'll
Bring
go
it
back
on.
to the top of the order with one of the cultists who's here as he comes in with a scimitar attack. 15 to hit.
Hits.
You take 5 points of slashing damage.
I'm going to have that to 2.
Great. The fanatic is currently actively drowning. They are going to try to remove this spell or this cursed ring from their fingers. So that is going to be... Oh, great. Yeah, they do so. They are able to pull the ring off of themselves as they fall to the ground, and they are just vomiting seawater, expelling it all from their lungs. You can even see that there are bits of kelp and sand that come out with it. A truly grisly scene as he takes the ring and throws it down onto the ground.
Wow.
Great. That was their action. As a bonus action, they're going to make their spiritual weapon move ever closer to Fitzroy. And they're going to use their movement to position themselves behind a large crate as we pass turn now to Fitzroy.
Sure. Fitzroy's going to move a little bit around the crate so that he can kind of get slightly away from this thing as best he can, sort of in pursuit of this, and get a better angle on all of the ruckus that's going on around Tethrin. And I think I'm going to cast Catapult and see if I can grab a crate or something and cast it and shoot it at the mess of people. I'm hoping to hit everybody. I'm sorry, Tethrin, but there's a lot of people around you. I'm trying to help them out, trying to help you out. So if that's okay with y'all, I'm going to throw that. That's going to be a dex saving throw with a DC 13.
And which one of these guys are you targeting?
I'm kind of trying to hit everybody in that area. Choose an object. Do I have to pick it? Hold on, let me see here.
Yeah, if it would strike a creature, and since it's an object
not an area of
between
effect
1 to
spell. I'm
5
wrong.
pounds, I'd say it's only one creature that would get targeted.
No, totally. And I've changed my mind. I'm going to use Ray of Sickness, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to use Ray of Sickness on, I guess, these guys are all here, hey? Does somebody seem kind of feeble and already kind of hurt a little bit?
No one here has taken damage.
Okay, then
everyone that took damage around Tethrin has already died.
They already died. Okay, then I'm just going to aim it at one of the people who was causing the conflict to begin with. Not one of the new guards, but one of the shit talkers. And I'm going to cast Ray of Sickness at them.
On a hit, the target you have to make a ranged spell attack. So
so my ranged spell attack is 18. Yeah.
Great. So the target will take 2d8 poison damage, and then we'll use that con save.
Yeah. Boom. That is 10 poison damage.
10 poison damage. Yeah. That cultist just drops dead.
Perfect. Lucky for me, because I am a necromancer. I get if I've killed somebody with a necromantic spell, which I believe Ray of Sickness is, yes, then I get a certain amount of health back.
Nice.
I get once per turn when you kill one or more creatures with a spell of first level or higher, you regain hit points equal to 3 times its level if the spell belongs to the School of Necromancy. So I cast the level at a first spell, so I get 3 HP back, right? That's based on what I just read?
Yeah, Ray of Sickness. Yeah. So you'd get, you cast it at first level, so yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna give myself some 3 HP here.
Nice.
Boom, and I think as a bonus action, I'm going to cast Expeditious Retreat on myself, and then I'm going to not move because I already used my move, but I'll cast Expeditious Retreat.
All right, perfect.
Bonus action.
With that, we'll pass over to one of the guards with their spear in hand. They're going to try and stab you, Tethrin.
Yield!
With a 22 to hit, 7 piercing damage.
I'm going to have that to 3.
Perfect. The second guard is also going to make their attack with advantage since they are flanking you. 9 to hit. They are going to miss. And pass turn now to Tethrin.
Yield? Never.
And I'll attack. Let's roll a d4, and we'll do clockwise, starting from the top.
All right.
To kind of pick. Out of 4, I'll attack number 9, I believe. Number
Rick.
9 is up top.
Yeah, the guy above you here. Go ahead and roll to hit.
Okay, rolling to hit with my trident is going to be a 24 to hit.
24 hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
That is going to be 1d8 plus 6 for the trident, which is going to be 13 plus 1d6 plus 2. 13 plus 4 is going to be 17 points. 13 points of piercing and 4 points of necrotic damage.
You strike this trident straight through this guard's chain shirt and stab them. 3 punctured hole in the chest. You draw it out and blood just oozes out. They're dead.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Any more attacks?
You're
or
quite
movement,
insatiable there, Tethrin. Please be careful.
I guess. Let's see. I'm using the trident two-handed, so I don't have 2-weapon fighting that I can use. I don't think I can attack as a bonus action, or could I headbutt somebody as a bonus action?
Yeah, you can headbutt someone as a bonus action.
I'm gonna headbutt somebody then.
Great. Go ahead and do this with disadvantage since you are trying to do damage with a weapon that is not the trident.
Okay.
Per the parameters of the curse.
Cool. I'm gonna do this. It doesn't look like I'm gonna hit. That's gonna be a 10.
10 is gonna miss.
Okay.
The trident, you can feel the tide inside of your head pull out, come swelling back in.
Cool.
All right.
Try to shake it off.
Pass turn. The cultist now is going to come around here. They're going to get their weapon to move as much as they can make it. Doesn't look like they'll be able to reach you.
I'm just slowly eking away from it. Not quite.
But the cultist is also going to come out here and is going to try and get you with... let's see. Do they have any range spells? Yeah, there we go. Go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh boy.
Fitzroy.
Dexterity saving throw. I got an 18.
18. Yeah, you do not take any of the sacred flame damage that comes hurling towards you. As this cultist
I love
continues to they move 10 feet. Yeah, they're going to use their movement to keep kind of moving clockwise, trying to get a better angle on you. As we pass turn now to you, Fitzroy.
Okay, well, since we're firing spells at one another, I guess tally ho, as it were. I'm going to cast. Yeah, let's do another. Let's do Ray of Sickness at this cultist.
Great. Go ahead and roll to hit. Or roll to hit.
Yeah. Casting. Pow. Boom. I'm going to cast it at a first level. Actually, I'm going to cast it at a second level.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Boom. That's going to be an 18 to hit.
18
Nice.
hits.
Okay. And then I'm going to roll my, I'm assuming my 3d8 here. That's going to be 9 poison
9
damage.
points. And they got an 11 on their Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
Which fails.
I
Yeah,
think
so
my
they are
spell
not
safety's-
poisoned.
Yeah. Okay. I see. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So they're not poisoned, but they still take the damage, right? That's what happens.
Correct.
Perfect. Okay. Take that. You have some poison in your lungs too. And I'm gonna use my movement to go 30 feet this way, just to get sort of closer to the action that Tethrin's dealing with, and then I'm gonna use my bonus action dash because I can do that thanks to Expeditious Retreat. And I'm gonna try and get behind the pillar, or like the crates, or like the support nearby where he is at, sort of hiding from the action, but right near him.
Nice.
Amazing. Great. With this turn, the guard is now going to say, "Oh God, we're gonna need some help down here," and he's going to use his action to dash away from Tethrin.
I'd like to attack him.
Yeah, you have to.
As he
Something's
flees,
moving nearby,
I will
better kill it.
slash out with my trident for 12 to hit.
12 does not hit, as they are able to bat it away with the back of their spear. They are able to make it up the stairs and out of the encounter as they went back upstairs, blowing on a whistle the entire time that they were leaving there.
God damn it.
Great. Yoink. Amazing.
Nice.
He's just
Perfect.
left his one friend downstairs.
We're gonna need some help. See ya.
As the
I'm
guard
gonna need some
says-
help, man. Dude, come back.
The other guard who's facing it's like, you didn't think this one through, did ya? You got nowhere to go. We're on the open sea. And he comes at you with a spear of 14 to hit.
That is gonna hit.
He had it in 2 hands for a D8 of damage, but it only comes up to 2 damage overall.
I will have that to 1.
He kind of looks down as you like shrug off his spear poke, and you can see that he's getting a little nervous now as we go now to Tethrin.
That just means I have to kill all of you. And I'll
Oh my
attack
God.
with my trident. For 21 to hit.
21 hits.
That is going to be 8 points of piercing damage, and then I'll suck his life force for another 6 points of necrotic damage, 14 total points of damage.
14 all. This guy dies.
Bet he didn't think that through. Just standing in a pile of corpses.
And then let's see. So now I'm done. I've cleared these folks.
Have
but
you
I
even
know-
moved?
I haven't moved.
Just laid waste all these bodies.
Stab, stabby, stab.
Yeah, you have 5 corpses around you right now.
I think, and I guess you'll. So, what is the? Can I because I'm under the berserker effect? Can I move however I want to?
You do, but you have to be. Let me double check the parameters here.
Yeah, I might have to stay away from you.
I was gonna say I'm nervous that I'm gonna
Yeah.
bring my trident
just
on
make sure
Fitzroy.
You
you're
have
doing
to be
okay.
moving. You have to be moving to attack the next nearest creature after you fell your current target.
Oh no.
So you got to go after Fitzroy.
Okay.
Hi, Fred. Good job killing all those people. I'm
Why are you
impressed.
looking at me like that?
Why
are you holding
your
your-
eyes are still glowing, which is weird. You don't have to. You can turn that off.
I think just under my breath, I'm sort of muttering, kill, kill, kill. And I'll run this way. Let's see, I've got 30 feet of movement, I think. So I'm going to head here. Just like, kill, kill. My eyes are sort of glazed over as I turn towards Fitzroy.
You do have quite a lot of skill. I agree with. Are you saying skill? Bill? Who's Bill? I don't know what's going. What? Oh no.
Is there any, I guess I'm curious, is there any way I could make some sort of a throw to try to go towards the other acolyte? No.
That's the curse, baby.
Dang, what a intense curse.
All right.
Now listen here.
The other
friends.
cultist moves their spiritual weapon close as they can get to the fray, as they move forward and say, "You can't handle the power of the trench demon." And they are going to try and cast, let me see, please be within range. Oh, yeah. Fitzroy, can you please make a wisdom saving throw?
Okay. Saving throws for wisdom.
Oh, no.
Just a 7.
You feel all of your muscles lock tight as you become paralyzed. And let me see here.
Oh, dear. Remember when we had all that fun time talking about wavy drip? Oh, jeez.
So you are incapacitated and can't move or speak, automatically failing strength and dexterity saving throws. Attack rolls against you have advantage. Any creature that hits any attack that hits you is a critical hit if the attacker is within 5 feet of you.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
This may be the end of Fitzroy.
As we pass turn to you, Fitzroy.
Can I do anything?
Let me double check. At the end of each of its turn, the creature can make another wisdom saving throw. On a success, the spell ends. So since you can't do anything your turn, trying to beat this is your turn. So go ahead and make another wisdom saving throw.
Yeah. Here goes nothing. 16.
You break it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. Oh, boy.
That's really good.
Yeah, that is really good. I'm assuming that I don't still have a bonus action, right?
No, that would be the end of your turn.
That's my whole turn. Okay.
Yeah.
There it
No
goes.
movement either?
No movement either.
Yeah. Okay.
Tethrin.
Okay, so anyway, that was sorry, I just had some stiff muscles. I'm just like wiggling a little.
Kill. And I'm going to step close and I'm going to attack. I'm going to attack my boy.
Oh, dear.
I'm so sorry.
What's going on, my friend?
Is there and there's nothing I can do to like make a save of like not attacking? Oh, no. Dang.
Maybe this cursed item will be busting me. Oh, shit. Yeah, that's going to hit me. 21 is going to hit me. Yeah.
Cool. That's going to be 8 piercing plus 7 necrotic.
I'm down.
No.
I'm down. Yeah. You put me right down. Yeah.
I was afraid of that. You're not like impervious to necrotic damage.
Unfortunately, no. I'm not impervious to necrotic damage. No.
Okay. Oh shoot. Okay. That's my turn. I've only used 5 feet of movement, so when you go down, I'm gonna use my other 25 feet to get closer to this.
Yeah.
And I'm just going kill, and I start charging at this other entity.
Amazing. As we go back to the top of the order, the cultist is going to use its action to dash as it runs 60 feet straight towards the entrance here. It is at this time that the guard has come down with some more reinforcements. So there are 4 more guards that show up.
Oh, shit. This is intense. You know, I'm used to my characters dying as a DM for a bunch of people, but this is I don't think I've ever played a PC that's died yet, because every campaign I've played in as a PC has not finished. So, and I haven't had that many sessions in some of them. So yeah, I'm excited to see what I've never rolled a bunch of death saves as a PC.
Fitzroy may need to be making a it may be a prequel episode then for Fitzroy.
Yeah, if this is gonna tie into what we do in the basement, it's gonna have to be like a story of the past.
Yes.
As the cultist is running towards the stairs and 5 guards are coming down them, the cultist is like, please, he's gone mad. Just started butchering everyone in the hold. Please help me. So the cultist runs towards the stairs. 5 guards are coming down, the other guard having gotten reinforcement. The cult fanatic used all of their movement and their action to move, so we're going to pass turn now to one of the guards, who's going to come and dash towards... Actually, no, he's going to come down to his full movement and is going to ready an action as he kind of stands steady, waiting to make contact with whoever comes near him first. Fitzroy, we go to you now. Please roll your first death saving throw.
Yes, yeah. Death saving throws. I'm trying to find them in here.
If you go to the top
here it
of
is.
your
Yeah,
character
I
sheet.
see it. Yeah. Here we go. I got a 9.
What is a memory that flits through Fitzroy's head in this moment?
Sure. Fitzroy remembers he's sitting at his graduation table. He's very excited. There's it's this large graduation hall. Skeletons are walking around serving food and drinks. There's a big banner at the front. And Fitzroy remembers that part of the graduation ceremony to graduate from Faust's Academy of Necromancy and Dark Stuff is that they all drink a specific concoction, and they actually die for a moment and visit the plane of annihilation, and then they come back. And so Fitzroy recalls the experience of that and sort of the nervousness and the fear of death, and then looking around, kind of feeling like, well, I felt alone all this time at school. I guess I feel alone here too. And that's the last memory he has.
Right. Oh. Pass it over to now another one of the guards using his action to come up again, or his movement to come up against this his friend here and ready in action as well. And we pass turn now to Tethrin.
I guess Tethrin's going to charge 30 feet here and throw a trident at his trident at the first guard.
Go ahead and roll to hit.
10.
10 does not hit. Dang it. You can feel instantly as the trident leaves your hand, you hear the roar of the ocean in your ears again. Your hand, like, you can feel the emptiness that this trident, you can feel the weight. It feels as if a part of your soul is missing since this trident is not in your hand. Anything else with your turn?
That's it.
All right, we pass turn to another guard who's going to come down. And he's going to use his action to dash so they can make a proper wall here. And the next guard is going to do the same, holding his action ready to attack you. Final guard is going to come into the same position as well, getting into a nice tight phalanx. As we go back to the top of the order, the cult fanatic rushes up the stairs, tosses another look at you, and says, Stybisso sends his regards. And that is where we'll end our adventure.
Oh. Woo! Oh man. Oh, I've never died. I've never been so hurt. This is crazy. And betrayed by my only friend. You felled me.
It was brutal. It was brutal.
I started off the session by being like, my character has no friends. You're like, he has one friend.
He has one friend.
Me. And then you killed me.
I mean, we only had one fail, so, there's still space for a story.
There's room for Fitzroy and us to rekindle our friendship.
Yeah, maybe Fitzroy comes back to consciousness, or maybe he comes back undead,
Yeah. Maybe he comes back as a thrall of the trench demon.
Yeah, there's space for him to make an appearance in a sequel, I think.
Oh,
definitely.
yeah. That was what a crazy encounter. Yeah. I really love the way you built that.
Half of you survived. One of you may survive, depending on how future dice rolls would have gone. Yeah, great job, y'all. I'd love to just kind of start off and kind of get a baseline here. What was a moment from this encounter that struck you, that is lingering in your mind still, even in the after?
When we were in the sort of initial premise, I always love happening upon a scene. And of course, that's what happened right at the beginning. But I really liked there was kind of almost a fake out with the cursed item, which was kind of fun. Like, I thought oh, this ring is the problem. For sure the ring is the problem. And you've found the trident, which I was like, because, we walk in. Initially, the big thing is, okay, we're talking about cursed items. We've got this trident here. It's got to be the trident. We grab it. Nothing happens to us, really, except that we hear the ocean. And we're like, okay, so everything's kind of fine. So, of course, you're going to hang on to it. You're the big, sturdy guy, and you're protecting me. So you hang on to the big weapon. 2 weeks later, it's a huge problem that you've hang on to the weapon. I just like the fake out at the beginning. I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad. I definitely, in the building of it, I was really trying to make sure it wasn't like that there wasn't like you said exactly. Like there was like, oh yeah, this is clearly the thing that's gonna be cursed, like the dark helm that's on the thing. So I'm glad that paid off in a satisfying way.
Yeah.
Well, I also appreciated you using the ring creatively later on, bringing that back in.
You got to.
I'm curious because we didn't get to like the end of combat. What like how does Berserker end? Like how do you get out of Berserker mode?
Let's say he kills all the guards, right? Yeah. What's happening next? You know?
So you are Berserk until you start your turn with no creatures within 60 feet of you that you can see or hear.
Wow.
So it's fairly likely that maybe if Fitzroy had come back, maybe there would be, maybe I'd be able to like somehow incapacitate you so that we could get you out of that thing, but it's not necessary. I would probably have tried to cast like blindness, deafness on you or something.
That's a good one.
Because I have that stocked. But I think like I'm very curious because you probably just would have tried to clean house on the boat and kill every person that was on the boat, which is pretty
I
like
would have until I fell. Yeah.
I think it's a really cool like honestly. Oh man, I don't know if I want to give this away, but I think I have a good idea for how I'm going to tie this into what we do in the basement.
Ooh, you'll have to go check out that episode if you want.
Yeah, I think I've just got a really good idea about how that might pan out.
What's fun is that the Berserker weapon is one of the ones that's in the DMG. I just reskinned it as a trident, rather than I think it's like a great axe, Berserker axe or something.
Okay,
sure.
The other cursed item was the ring, and for that one I really wanted to encapsulate one of the other like thematic ideas of a cursed item, the idea of like save or suck. For some of the cursed items, especially in older editions, it was like you touch the cursed ring, make a constitution saving throw, you rolled an 8, you died, your soul left your body, you can only be resurrected by wish.
Oh, wow.
And that felt like very extreme, but I liked the idea of having a thing that was like, as soon as you touch it, you're in deep water, literally.
Yeah, like literally. And I like that it like immediately raised the stakes when my character put it on. Like I put it on and it was like, you're going to fucking die if you don't take this off. Because it is hard to like give people harsh consequences that they also have a moderate semblance of control over. With your players and without like immediately putting them in, it's not like you illustrated, like no one wants to fall down a 300-foot hole just by chance, right? Like you want to give them some hope of fighting back. And I think like there's a lot. Also, Diego, beautiful aesthetic, by the way, the salt speakers and the coral and
thank you.
Oh man, like very good.
Yeah, thank you.
Very good. Yeah, I like the wooden masks was such a cool touch.
My fiance just recently finished God of War Ragnarok, so I like that imagery was very forward in my mind.
Yeah, I see.
One cool thing about the Ring of Drowning is that the parameters of the curse, when you put this ring on while not underwater, your lungs start filling with water. If you need to breathe and can't breathe water, you run out of breath after a number of rounds equal to your Constitution modifier. Then you drop to 0 hit points and start dying. But if you put it on underwater, it would let you breathe as normal.
Oh, that's so cool. Man, that's a cool item.
Really cool.
That's a cool item. And did you homebrew that like up based on what you were doing?
Kind of a little bit. I in my research, I looked up to try and find just a lot of cursed item examples. And there weren't a lot that were like fully mechanically fleshed out and like had the thing. Some of them were just like, oh, it would be cool if this did thing.
Right.
But the Ring of Drowning was one that I think has been making the rounds in like, the general homebrew sphere for a while now. So I was able to just take that. I didn't even have to really like modify too much of it. The DC to take the ring off, you have to succeed on a DC 14 Arcana check. Right. I was lucky that I
stacked my Arcana because that's how I got it off. It would have been very funny if just like guessed first like 5 seconds in. Pretty much the first thing I do, just put the ring on fucking kills me and I'm like, all right.
Or like it comes to the point where they just need to chop your hand off to like get the ring off of you.
Yeah.
And I love that it forces, like you said, it immediately raises the stakes. It immediately puts people in a problem solving mode. It's like, okay, if I touch the ring, is something going to happen?
You're right.
Oh no, we all tried to get the ring off. We can't get it off. Like, what happens now?
I like it a lot. Yeah.
And I love that you like kept it and you tried to use it against another person. I thought that was genius.
Yeah, I
was
really
so much fun.
I really think that like one of the hardest things to do in D&D is like keep track of your cool shit. I think and so obviously we're doing like a little bottle episode and it's like easy to like kind of keep those things together, but it's like I very much encourage like using the things the DM does. As a DM, I love it when I'm like, oh shit, you do have that thing. Yeah. I gave my players like what effectively was a like a deck of many things in a box. And it's called the Wild Eye in our campaign. And like you look through it and then I roll this wild magic table that's sort of a mix of homebrew and things that I've done and things that other people have done. And it like one of the days, I think one of the things that happened in our campaign was it like literally reset the day, and it like so and they stuck it to the eye of like they were in a dire situation, shit was not working out, and then one of them just put it to their eyes and it like started from scratch. And as a DM, you're like, fuck, like I have to reset the day now. But but at least it made planning for those sessions kind of easy because I already knew what happened. So but I love like pulling things out of the like. So players, if you're listening, like, hang on to those things and whip them out. Keep them for sessions, keep them for sessions, and then bring out that ring again and stick it on the baddie's finger while he's doing his speech. And it's just fun. It's just fun.
I imagine if this was part of like an actual larger continuous actual play, right? The 2 weeks between the sea cave, exactly. It would have been a lot of more fun to see that and that's why I included that time jump, right?
And you could probably role play like the back and forth between like what's happening with the sea the trident and how that's impacting Tethrin, and like what that hit, like he goes to sleep and every time we're doing like a short or long rest you have like a conversation with this sea demon, right? Like the trench demon. I just think it's cool.
One thing that I think when I in the planning of this episode that was kind of at the forefront of my mind, I was like, these cursed items, the way they are meant to function in 5e, it really depends on either being really good at not metagaming and also being really good at the release of information. I was imagining that the combat that happened on the ship was maybe like the first combat that happened that they'd had in 2 weeks, or at least you at least hadn't gotten hit, and this was the first time you failed that wisdom saving throw to see if it triggered the berserker rage. And so that was something that I was really kind of trying to be very careful when I was navigating, is when do you find out what? Because if I told you pick up a ring, it's cursed, that changes what the
the difference between what happened with the ring of drowning, which is like we immediately understand what the deal is with this fucking thing, and all your cards are on the table pretty much, and so we understand its functions and how consequences of using it. Whereas like the spirit's like, okay, cool, we've got this weapon, and that is so much fun, right? To like give your players something that just seems kind of nice. It's like, oh, it's +1, that's cool, and then like, okay, in like a couple of sessions or in like a session or two, we're gonna figure out this, and let it pan out. I think that's like, it's hard to know narratively because I think that cursed items really serve a really strong narrative purpose. Like I really think you can build like they can be such campaign hooks, right? This can be something that's going to pull you in a whole different direction. Like we were on a different mission, right? We could have been there. That could have been session 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 or whatever in our campaign that we're playing, and then all of a sudden, we've now got a whole new campaign hook to go deal with this trench demon that we were just trying to solve a town's problem. I just think it's like a really cool way of layering in, strong stakes that don't, like, you don't have to address that right away. We could carry around that trident for levels and levels and levels. And you might be trying to buff but if it gives you enough stuff, you might be trying to buff your saving throws just so you can continue to use it if it's really good. Right? Like, maybe the trident gets more powerful, and maybe you're like, well, shit, I don't want to lay this thing down. I don't care that it makes me like go crazy. I want to try and like withstand it. I don't know. I just think it's great.
And it's definitely an interesting balance, especially playing like a barbarian who is already especially raging. The character that I created, which is like, yes, let's burn everything to the ground. Like very violent, very like ready for a fight. like this weapon in particular, I was like, oh, this is really interesting, like character growth of like if he comes out of this, you know,
are you still going to be this like hyper violent person, right?
Yeah,
like,
or is he going to change his ways? Like, I'm sure he's going to be distraught. Depending
you just killed the person you were trying to protect.
Yeah, just like, oh, this totally undid everything. Like, is he going to seek retribution from this this god or this deity that he's gained this weapon from? So I definitely think like character wise in this specific encounter, it was really fun to see like you can really see the thematic or the character arc of dealing with this weapon. Also brutal to put it in a ship where like 60 feet is the entire range.
Of
the area. So it's like you got to get out of this whole box that we were playing in.
I think
to escape the berserker range. That was cool.
I think that like one of the nice things about having both of these cursed items in here, Diego, was that like we got to see sort of one that if you want to include a cursed item in your campaign that's just sort of flavor and not going to totally like send your players on a different mission. That's something like the Ring of Drowning or something with sort of like it's almost like a trap in an item, right? Like it's like here's a little function that it's got. Here's these things. How do you want to use it? And versus like here's a big narrative chunky thing that's gonna move you along, gonna give you some whole purpose. And you know the whereas the ring, we don't have all this lore dumped into it. There's not like an enemy that we want to kill with it. There's not a way to remove it's kind of just a tool that your players get versus this trident that gives you all this stuff, but at this massive cost that narratively we want to unpack, So I think that's kind of a neat balance of the two different, at least the sort of two, what seemed to me to be kind of like the obvious binary of cursed items.
Yeah. Just trying to give a full sense of that range for sure. One thing that I came across in my research that I think is a good like nugget of wisdom for DMs to take is that a good cursed item is gonna urge you to like complicate your values, right? Because like you said, like when you're getting this cool buff, right? With the berserker trident, but it comes at this negative cost. Like, what does your character do when faced with that? Do they give up on their values a little bit? Do they concede a little bit? What are they willing to give up for that bonus? And how does that change them over time? Can be a really good like role playing prompt.
You see DMs complain a lot about like like sort of characters that love like killing to like a sort of an unreasonable degree. Trying my most eloquent way to spell out like people who are just obsessed with slaughtering towns.
Murder hobos.
But yes, murder hobos. And the character, like a cursed item is a really good way to kind of be like I just don't know if I could imagine a murder hobo playing with this trident and being like, okay, you slaughtered are you happy now? Like there's got to be a certain role playing consequence to this, and I think that encourages. Earlier, we were talking about how we think that cursed items will present an opportunity for players to like role play, and that may not necessarily be so inclined. And I think that if you were playing your character that way, which you weren't, but if you were, because there's obvious room for it to become like that. I think that there's an opportunity for you to kind of like, really actually say, okay, wait, what? Maybe I don't need to just do this, right?
Right.
And so, good little way to kind of bring people out of their shells.
One last kind of question I wanted to get from the room here was how to break the curse. A lot of the cursed items in 5e, it's you have to cast remove curse on them, and that will, if it doesn't it won't remove the curse from the berserker trident, right? Like it will still be a cursed berserker trident, but now you aren't cursed to it. You aren't bound to its rules. Like the curse
you're removing the curse from the individual, not the item.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. And remove curse is a 3rd level spell, so it's not
not like everybody has it. Yeah.
Yeah, a 6th level party would probably have access to it. Anything, or at least have the option to get access to it, right?
Yeah.
If you're playing like a wizard. So
I think like that's like it can't. I think that might be a big reason why people don't use them that often.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, I think
because it's almost too trivial to remove the curse if someone just needs to take remove curse.
My immediate reaction to that kind of information is that like I think perhaps my advice would be like as a DM would be like definitely probably also write in a sort of, give yourself another way. Give you and your players and your party, give them an individual, even if you want to keep it super rules heavy, like keep it, make sure that there's an individual that you've planted a seed of that will have remove curse somewhere nearby or at some point. But I would argue, like with the trident, for example, we might gain over the course of an adventure with this, we might gain some information about how to like depower certain things of it, or because the Dungeon Master's Guide, as you said, does not provide a lot of information about curses. I think that's kind of inviting DMs to say, listen, like you decide what the mechanics of how you turn it up, turn it down, turn it off are. And I think that's probably I would advise a DM who's using a cursed item to give it some layers for yourself, so that your players don't just go seeking out this insane spell that's tough to get. Like I think it's scary to feel like it's kind of like paralyzing a player or knocking out a player when you want them to feel like they're having fun for like a long-term game. Like you don't want to do that for like a 6-round battle. They're just like stunned or paralyzed. It's like, okay, like same kind of idea, but long sort of stretched it out here. Let's give people a couple of outs that they don't have to take, and you can choose to put those behind all kinds of things, right? That's the DM's, play box. But yeah,
that's what I was thinking too. Like that, there would be maybe like remove curse makes it so that like you are not cursed by the item, because there's like the idea of like the curse that exists in the item and then the curse that extends to the person. Because even if you had like lost that trident, right, you still would have had disadvantage on attack rolls with weapons that aren't the trident, even if the trident is at the bottom of the ocean. So like the remove curse might like remove that part of it, but maybe there's going to be like a whole quest that is like, if you want to keep this trident and you really love it, you're going to have to go through like multiple steps to like break this ancient powerful magic on it.
Totally.
Like sacrifice a trout in the fucking new moon at like the place where the river meets the sea, something like that. Something that's like,
I do think it's fun though to also have like a narrative alternative to like it can only be removed by remove curse. Right. I think having a fun way to be like, is it if you pledge fealty to this deity that is given it to you, but like I think giving your players multiple pathways to accomplish goals is fun and exciting. And if they're like, ooh, I think, and if they have an idea of like how, a process of removing the curse could help with their character growth, that would be cool too. I think in this specific situation where it's so scary, especially, I think part of that is we don't have a bigger party, is like, as soon as we're in combat, Fitzroy is immediately in danger.
I'm the only other person there.
Right. So this in particular is like, oh, I don't know that I could, like, throwing it overboard might be the best way to deal with it in the meantime, because, or giving it to somebody else to see if they'll get the curse instead, or if it'll
keep
linger.
it around and just don't attune to it, because then you still get a nice little like +1 trident.
Oh, that's true too, because you have to.
It could have like the levels, right? Like, maybe it's not as good if you don't attune to it, but
I will say, if you like the flavor of the trident specifically, I know there is also a trident that you can recall.
That's
so
fun.
Once you throw it, it comes right back to you, or it like materializes in your hand.
Action.
Yeah,
and that game's fire. Yeah.
I think that would make this trident, especially given the narrative of like it wants to.
Yeah, it wants you to
continue
kill.
Hold on to it, like it coming back to you. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So, if you like that, I would say flavor it that way, because that would make it just that much worse.
We'll also have the stat blocks for the 2 cursed items featured in this encounter, in this episode, down in the little show notes here for anyone who wants to put that in their games.
Awesome. And I'm gonna bug you for some stat blocks so that I can do a little bit of a tie-in.
Yeah, nice. Yes. Stay tuned for the What We Do in the Basement Dungeon Busters lore tie-in.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
As we wrap up here, Kevin, I would love to ask you, I have 2 questions for you. One, is there anything about running, like DMing an actual play versus DMing a homebrew that you would suggest to people who are maybe interested in running an actual play for themselves?
Sure.
I'll leave that as my first question.
Sure.
I've got
Let me tackle that. That's a big one. So I won't riff for 30 minutes on this, but I do have a lot of thoughts. so you're talking about advice for people who want to start like an actual play podcast, like a Let's Play. My advice is it's a great amount of fun. It's a lot of work. There is a fair amount, like I mean, it doesn't have to be. You can release it, just raw every time. But I do think that podcasting is a different. It's a totally different thing than playing D&D. They're two totally separate things. So how good you want to be at it and how successful, however you define success for yourself and your podcast, that all matters. And make sure that the people that you're working with, this is true of all collaboration, you're all on the same page. You're all aiming at the same targets. All of that is to say, when you are doing this, get some decent microphones. My microphones are so good that you can probably hear my cat screaming from the other door, from outside the door. But the thing I suggest is to make sure you get equipment and those kind of things ready and set up, and then theater of the mind. Try so hard not to get too invested in the tabletop. Be descriptive as a DM, and I think make sure that when you got to keep combat kind of tight. You can't be as, I don't think you can be quite as crunchy. I think that Let's Plays lend themselves well to DMs who are flexible. That's why and players too. That's why all of my players are versatile improvisers. They're all people who do comedy with me and things like that. And I think that it's very beneficial to make sure that what you are doing is going to be, you have to make sure you're enjoying it enough, because if you're going to be the one sitting in the editing bay, cutting up your episodes and doing those kind of things, you have to make sure you're passionate about it. And that I'm not trying to heat anybody against it. It is a much saturated market that is also something that you should do if you want to, because putting out, I love editing. It's like a fun thing for me. So, and I like adding in cool soundscapes and doing all these things. So make sure that you are definitely like interested in creating a cool product, like an audiobook. And also just like, don't try to be another podcast. My podcast is inspired by Not Another D&D Podcast and a few other ones out there. But like, the truth is, if you're sitting in your room with your friends and you're trying to do something fun, that's probably what the core is going to keep motivating you to come back. If everyone's like trying their hardest to do Critical Role 2.0 or whatever the fuck else it is that they're fans of, or this show or my show, I think like, you're not me, you're not you guys, you're not whatever the super famous DM's name is that I've just totally blanked on. Matt Mercer. There we are. Yeah.
Unnamed famous DM.
Probably the most
there's
notable.
Plenty of them. They can fill in the blank for themselves.
Just be yourselves. I know that's fucking dumb, but like, this is a project that is big, so take it on with like your heart.
I love that. That's very good advice. Solid advice.
Sorry, what was your second question? I hopefully.
Well, because I know you've got some fun improvisers at your table, I was going to ask, like, what are some maybe tips for, like, I don't know if you've run into maybe conflicts at the table, or again, it sounds like you've got some good collaborators, but like they also may be going kind of crazy and in many different directions at the same time. What do you do to like bring
manage
your table together? Yeah.
I think it's a different struggle. I think that's like part of it is like before we started recording, and sometimes, we do check-ins and things like that, as you should do with your table when you're playing things, and especially when you're making stuff that's going to be put out there and everyone's name is going to be on it. You really got to do things. So firstly, it's like a matter of like making sure that people understand, like, this is good table stuff, but like making sure that understand the DM is kind of really holding the story together. But I'm very much in the like, I think sometimes it can be a matter of like players might be wanting to push certain things, and the chaos can feel like a bunch of people are trying to do different stuff. And I think sometimes it's a good idea. So that graduation hall that I described in Fitzroy's flashback. Yeah. The way that I did that is that I knew I was going to do a flashback into a graduation ceremony for the characters in another episode in our show. And what I did was I allowed them all to paint the hall. So I was like, what is something that you would see at a necromancy graduation? And someone picked the skeleton serving, and then someone else choose this kind of decor, these kind of functions. And these are all flavor. And as a DM, we trade in flavor, right? Like, this is like, I'm going to take this thing and so things that don't have consequence, but also like, I don't know. I don't I don't take my stuff super seriously. So if you think that this thing is going to happen all of a sudden, I'm like, yeah, let's just try that out. And so part of it is about being open, but I think also like if your players are all pulling each other in different directions, it might be because they all have stuff they just passionately want to contribute to what's going on.
Yeah.
So try to tie them together, or try to see like, okay, sure, you help me develop this thing for this person. You know, because we can't pull everybody's threads at the same time. Not everything's always going to be interconnected, because it's hard
sharing that spotlight.
Yeah, and you know, as a DM, making sure this is the improviser in me, but like I look at this as like I'm painting, but you guys are deciding the colors, which helps because I'm colorblind. But like, you know, yeah, I think so. Like let them choose the colors and keep painting with it. And if they have a different brush stroke, like let them try. It's easier to speak in metaphors than it is to give real advice. So
no, I totally understand, and it's so much helpful. I think as a DM, having your party help you world build. So you don't have to come up with every single idea to be like, yeah, what does this graduation look like? And let's just accept that, and keep moving forward.
Yeah, like I wouldn't advise someone to do a let's play, for example, if they just had a story they wanted to tell. I would say like go write that book. Like, you know, if you want to do a let's play, to me, D&D is supposed to be collaborative storytelling. That's how I always describe what it is initially to people. I think that, and especially when you're doing a let's play, it's like, I'm doing it with. If I just wanted to tell you the story of Alanis and what we do in the basement's world and realm, I would just record it and write it. I don't want to do that. I want to see what all my funny friends add to it. So, you know, that's my perspective.
That's great advice. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today, Kevin. We really
this was
appreciate
a blast.
You having you here.
Yeah. I had so much fun. Thank you so much.
And if you want to check out more of Kevin, make sure to check out what we do in the basement, as well as Oops All Segments. We actually did an episode on Oops All Segments, so you can go check that out.
It was a blast. Yeah, it was so much fun. Yeah, we did some D&D games that you guys brought with some segments. Yeah. One's very casual, and they're very different. So if you don't like one, try the other.
We talked about magical items, not cursed items, but
That's right.
Yeah. Kevin, anything else you wanted to plug or mention before?
Yeah, you know, I think like play games and have fun with your friends. If you want to plug something, I don't know. I doubt that people that are listening to this live in the city that I live in, so I won't plug the restaurants that I'm opening necessarily. Okay. But instead, I will just make sure that people know that they can find what we do in the basement at WWDITB on all social media. And then if you want to see a casual show where Thomas, who's on what we do in the basement, has also been on this show, and myself do segments and do stupid things, check out Oops All Segments. Thank you so much, guys. This was a blast.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you all for tuning in to Dungeon Busters. We will see you next time.
Bust you later.
Thanks for scrolling into this episode of Dungeon Busters. Did you get inspiration from today's experiment? Then consider leaving us a review on your podcast platform of choice.
Did we miss something? Would you have done it differently? Let us know on social media at Dungeon Busters Pod. That's DNGN Busters Pod.
You can follow me on socials at Michael_C_Hyatt.
And you can find me, Diego, on my website, foreverdm.xyz.
Thank you to Peter Gertes for our cover art. Our intro music is by Artle Music.
Produced and edited by Michael C. Hyatt and Diego F. Salinas.
Thank you all for joining us for Season 2 of Dungeon Busters. This season, we're going to be dropping episodes every other week. So stay tuned. We'll see you then.